I wanted to share a perspective about anxiety and panic attacks, panic disorder, that may help you get to the root of what is causing them. I believe there's a place for medication, but sometimes in the Western world, our initial impulse when we don't feel good is to just go to a doctor who is very likely to prescribe a medication in these kind of situations. So there may be times where you're just so incapacitated that you can't function, you can't take care of yourself, and it benefits you to get on medication at least for a short period of time. But I believe it always goes back to doing the work of understanding what our body is trying to communicate to us. And so sometimes blocking feelings that we're having with medication can also block the wisdom that is trying to come through. I'll give you an example. The first time that I had a panic attack, I was working at a group home. I was a manager there, worked directly with the kids who were there for abuse issues, and I went to bed one night telling myself, okay, I'm getting to a good place in my life. I've recovered from my divorce. I feel as though I'm at the right place with my work and feeling good about my job. And then, you know, these little self-comforting thoughts. I drifted off to sleep as I thought about these things. And then I woke up 2 hours, 3 hours later, and I thought I was having a heart attack. At the time, I didn't know about panic attacks. I didn't understand them, and I'd always had a lot of anxiety, being sensitive growing up and moving around a lot, different school, 4th grade through 8th grade, a lot of adjustment. But I didn't even understand anxiety, so understanding panic attack was like, what is this? I thought it was a heart attack. I even thought one of my arms was going numb, as I'd heard was associated with heart attacks. I just really felt a lot of pain, and my heart hurt, my chest hurt, couldn't breathe, and thought I might be dying. It was so intense. And, you know, after about 20 minutes or so, it subsided. I've heard that the chemicals that are activated during a panic attack basically exhaust themselves after, I believe, 20, 30 minutes or something like that. So I had one, you know, when I finally found out what it was and went to a panic disorder group, I remember one of the therapists said, just ride it out, you know, just know that you're going to deplete these chemicals. But later on, when I understood more about the mind-body connection, it became clear to me that the timing of that attack, that panic attack, was not coincidental. My body was telling me, don't get too comfortable with your life, because a lot of changes were about to occur. I was going to leave that job that I was trying to tell myself was right for me. I was going to go back to grad school for counseling psychology. I was going to move and change my life in so many ways in the years to come, and go through a spiritual awakening too. And so my body, I think it was well timed for this huge attack to occur right after I had tried to comfort myself and say that I was in the right place, because I wasn't, and I would have felt stuck if I stayed where I was in life. And so sometimes I believe that anxiety and panic is telling us something needs to change. And a lot of times we just don't listen to it because we have this medical mindset that something's wrong with me. And in so many cases, there's nothing wrong with you if you're feeling anxiety or panic. There's something wrong with your life situation. I knew a woman who, some years ago, she didn't often open up and share. And but one day, you know, I was hanging out with her, and she said she was just experiencing a lot of anxiety, and I just intuitively wanted to let her know that I've found from my own experience that sometimes that was a sign that there was a need for change, and that sometimes, you know, maybe being in the wrong relationship, and I just had an intuition maybe that's what it was for her. And short time later, you know, I found out that her and her husband divorced, and maybe she was resisting that. And I knew another woman who she had gone through a very unexpected divorce, and immediately, like same day as that trauma occurred, she went and medicated herself because she still had to function in her day-to-day life with 2 or 3 different types of medication. And so a lot of that initial grief and pain was blocked. And I understand that response because we don't like to be in pain. But I believe it was Kurt Vonnegut, the author, who said that a lot of problems in contemporary society arose when we began to believe that we should never feel pain. Because this discomfort is what is trying to motivate us to feel, to heal ourselves, to change our lives when needed, to go through the process of being human. So I do believe that our society is largely over-medicated because it is a simple solution. And when you go to see a doctor, typically you're only going to have maybe, 15 minutes or whatever, and they're not going to go into a deep existential exploration of what it is in your life that is going to need re-examining. You're looked at more from a Western medical perspective as a machine that sometimes is dysfunctional. So it's called an anxiety disorder, a panic disorder. It's a disorder from that mindset. And it could be, there's nothing wrong with you, but there's something about your life situation that needs re-examining. In many parts of the world, and before contemporary prescription medication in the West, people were just dealing with survival. And there are still a lot of people in the world dealing with survival issues, just trying to get enough food, clean water, and basic shelter needs met. But there's also a lot of people who are now able to take care of themselves. And once you're past that kind of root chakra survival, basic needs kind of stage of life in which you are able to take care of yourself, then you enter a realm of more existential concerns, which is about meaning in your life, purpose in your life. Now that you can take care of yourself, what is it you are here to do? And sometimes even before you're able to take care of yourself, figuring out what you're here to do is crucial, and then the monetary and basic needs elements fall into place. So anxiety and having panic attacks might be a sign that you're continuing to try to live a life that you're familiar with or was given to you through your socialization or your family kind of patterns or rituals or expectations, and it's time for some kind of change. So re-examine this, and don't, if you are on medication, don't assume that you're broken in some way and always will need to be medicated. Perhaps it would benefit you to working in conjunction or with your psychiatrist or doctor, medical doctor. Lessen amounts, allow yourself to feel what has been blocked, what has been suppressed, and let it come out. Also, given the topic of this video, I wanted to pass along a practical solution to calming yourself if you feel panic coming on. I've learned that on a physiological level, 2 things that can build up or precipitate a panic attack are lactic acid buildup or carbon dioxide buildup. Lactic acid can build up in your muscles from tension. Carbon dioxide can build up from not breathing easy. And if you think about it, these are signs from your body that you're tense, you're nervous, you're uncomfortable, your muscles are tight, they're building up lactic acid, you're not breathing well. So the very process of consciously relaxing your muscles and, very importantly, breathing deeply can help to calm you down if you feel panic coming on. And it's amazing how just 10 deep breaths can lessen anxiety in our life, but we're not used to paying attention to our breath so much, generally speaking, and so we just kind of feel uncomfortable a lot and don't question it. But breath and doing breath work can really help to keep you even keeled. So you don't want to just, push away the anxiety constantly with techniques without examining it, without thinking about it. But these can be some helpful techniques, relaxation and breathing techniques that will help you to, function in a moment where you don't really want to be panicking, but then, go back to that and ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? What might need to change? What do I need to grieve? What needs to be released so that I can move forward in a more healthy way?